Welcome. It's great to have you all here with us. Wow, a special welcome to all of you that are joining us for the first time. You from Acellus Academy, from Power Homeschool, welcome to all you families, and welcome to a new school year and a new season of Science Live. We're really excited. Well, one of the really big thing that's been proliferating out there is artificial intelligence. Yeah. You've probably heard of Gemini or Grok or Chat GPT, but have you heard of Cat GPT? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, not that cool. Whatever you ask it, it just says meow meow. That's it. That's Chat GPT. Okay, a little bit of science news today. Scientists at the University of California believe that they've discovered the master switch for aging in the brain. A protein called FTL1. In their research that they published today in a paper, they found when they were studying with mice that if this specific protein was present in large amounts, that the brains were more sluggish. They showed signs of aging, not able to function as well. But when they would pull back on this protein or find ways to block this protein, then the mice would act like they had young minds. And they believe that by isolating this protein, that maybe someday we'll be able to not only keep our brains young, but even reverse aging in our brains. So I was thinking about kind of volunteering whenever they get to human trials, for doing it, but I've been told I already have the mind of a child. So apparently I don't need that. Well, it's time to get it over to Dr. Joshua for How to Study with Acellus Gold.
Welcome to the new school year. I have a riddle for you. What do the following courses have in common? Geometry, physics, Intro to Earth and Space Science, Algebra 2, psychology. Turns out that Acellus just published brand new versions of all of those courses. That's right, this summer our team has been very busy enhancing some of our most popular Acellus courses, and we've been going all out. New filming, new textbooks, and if you get a chance to try one of these new courses, you're going to love the updates. I want to give you a quick preview. If you're in 8th grade, get ready for a pre-algebra course that is out of this world. Take a look.
Welcome to Pre-Algebra. Pre-Algebra is like a launch pad. I think of it like a journey into a new realm, the realm of algebra. Algebra is a mathematical tool that will be useful no matter where you choose to go in life. Pre-algebra is not just about numbers. It's about cracking codes, solving real-world problems, and building skills that will make you unstoppable. You'll learn about variables, which are like mystery boxes that hold numbers, and we'll learn how to crack those mysteries with equations. Pre-algebra helps us in everyday life, whether you're splitting a pizza with friends, planning a trip, calculating strategies in sports, or finding the best deal at the store. The skills you'll learn, like working with fractions, decimals, percentages, pop up everywhere. That's the power of pre-algebra. Pre-algebra is the first step to really cool things later on. Want to design computer programs, build robots, or even explore space one day? Pre-algebra is the foundation for algebra, geometry, and even calculus, which are used in awesome careers like engineering, computer science, chemistry, and so much more. By learning pre-algebra now, you're setting yourself up to chase your biggest dreams. Finally, pre-algebra makes you a stronger problem solver. It teaches you to think logically, break big challenges into smaller steps, and keep trying even when things get tricky. Those skills aren't just for math. They help you in school, sports, and even with friends. These are just a few of the topics that we will be visiting on our exciting journey through pre-algebra. My name is Isaac, and I'm excited about all the things that you'll be able to learn in this course. So let's jump in. Remember, it's not just a class. It's a way to make your brain stronger, your life easier, and your future brighter. Let's go.
Buckle up and get ready for an exciting school year. Thank you.
Well, it's time to get it over to Dr. John with the Technology Spotlight.
Imagine if you looked up into the sky and you saw a whole bunch of little teeny flying saucers. You'd probably start thinking, was the aliens, wouldn't you? You know, or something like that. Here's a picture to kind of get the image in your mind going. See those alien saucers? It could be aliens or it could be researchers at Harvard University. Yeah, you never know these days. They're actually working on little solar-powered flying saucers like this. And the thing that's really unique is they don't use the sun's energy to make electricity like a normal flying craft. They actually use a completely different method. And it works the same way as a Crookes radiometer. And this is a device that was invented way back a long time ago, like in the 1700s. Here's a picture for those of you who haven't seen one. It's like a glass ball with a thing that looks like a weather vane inside. And when you shine a light on it, then it starts spinning, even though it's inside the glass ball. And the more light you shine on it, the faster it spins. And what's happening in here is something called thermal transpiration that they've been studying for a while. And one side gets hotter than the other side. And as the little gas molecules in there are bouncing around, they hit one side. And if they hit the cooler side, they bounce at a lower speed. And if they hit the warmer side, they bounce at a higher speed. And it creates this net momentum that makes it spin. And it's just been almost kind of like a little toy for quite a while, but now they're actually using it to do something really amazing. There are a lot of challenges, and people have tried to use this before. Notice that it's in a glass ball. That's because it has to be almost a complete vacuum for this principle to work. And of course, if you were to try to do it here, it just wouldn't work because there's too much air pressure. So, you know, why is that useful? Well, it depends on where you're flying, doesn't it? And so the idea is they could fly up in the mesosphere. And I have to show you a diagram so you understand what the mesosphere is. Remember, we have different layers in our atmosphere, and down low where the jets fly, that's the troposphere, right? And then above that is the stratosphere, and then above that, way up like 60 kilometers, is the mesosphere. And so that's the area where these little crafts would be able to fly really well. That'd be the perfect air pressure, which means almost no air pressure. It's kind of interesting because we know quite a bit about the troposphere because the stratosphere, because our weather balloons can go all the way up there, higher than the jets, and they can take measurements and things for a while and see what's happening. And then we know quite a bit about way above the mesosphere because our satellites are up there measuring. But the mesosphere is an area where the satellites can't go because there's too much air, the balloons can't go because there's not enough air. In fact, a lot of times they call it the ignorosphere because it's kind of ignored because it's hard to study. And so this might be a way to finally study it. Now, in order to make this work, they had to use some new nanotechnology. And I want to show you a little video of their prototype. It's pretty rudimentary. You see that little teeny thing? You can see it's 0.5 centimeter by 0.5 centimeter. And now we're going to turn it on. And did you see that? Let's watch it again in slow motion. Watch carefully. You can see it actually floats and kind of drifts around. And so that is their prototype that they have, and they use this setup, and of course it has to be in a vacuum and everything, like it's way up in the mesosphere, and they use this prototype and this setup to test their simulations and to make sure they understand the principle well. And they've designed a 6 centimeter version that will be able to carry a payload. In fact, it'll be able to carry hundreds of milligrams, which is less than 1 gram. So not very much, but that's actually enough to carry modern electronics while it's flying along. So here is a depiction again. You can see way up there in the picture, you can see the satellites, and then down lower, you can see the balloon maybe down there somewhere. And so this is right in that area. And it's really interesting because in the low pressure, things work very differently. And in order to make this work, they have, like I said, the nanotechnology, they have these aluminum oxide sheets that are 1,000th of a human hair thick. So super, super thin. And the top one is transparent. So the sunlight goes right through it. And so it stays cooler. And then they have little teeny posts to hold them apart, just barely. And the bottom one has a chromium coating on it that makes it absorb the sunlight, and so it gets warmer. So they have that momentum effect, just like in the Crookes radiometer, to be able to get that lift. But then they actually put little teeny holes through those layers to let the air through, to give it that additional lift, and so it can actually fly. You might have realized that since it's solar powered, it's not going to fly that well when the sun goes down, right? And so that's an interesting issue. And they realized that it could stay up for weeks or maybe even months if you flew it at like the North Pole during summer when the sun never sets, especially up in the mesosphere. And so there are applications like that. In fact, they have some neat ideas of how they could use this for telecommunications, like our internet connectivity, so our phones can work and everything. And then they can also, of course, study the mesosphere and learn a lot about the climate in that area. But they realized also this would work really well on Mars. And Mars, of course, is a much thinner atmosphere, which makes it perfect for this kind of thing. So they're looking at all these ideas, and you can tell it's the early stages, but it's neat to see something, a technology that we've had all this time, finally start to be used, and they're taking the problems with it and turning them into the solutions. And that's all the tech we have the time for. Thank you.
Now it's time for Breakthrough Moments in Science with Tobias.
When you get an incredible invention made, you've got to be brave enough to tell the world about it. Because if you're not, then who cares, right? Well, we're going to talk about a world-changing invention, but an inventor that wasn't sure he had something that was ready, and he had to get some help. We're talking about Carl Benz, and he was a German inventor in the 1800s, and he loved engineering, and he really loved mobility, like bicycles. He loved bicycles, and he had this vision. Now, you have to remember, at the time of this, we already had trains with steam engines, so you could get on a train, you could go somewhere. We had, of course, carriages where you could have a horse or something and it would pull you, and we had bicycles. But he had the vision, what if you had a horseless carriage? So basically a carriage and there's no horse and you're just moving. That freaks some people out. But that was like his vision, is can we make something where you can drive it with no animals in the front and it's powered? And of course, others had already looked at this, and a lot of inventors had looked at this from the point of view of, let's put a steam engine on a carriage, and we could have a steam engine. Well, Carl starts to look at this, and he actually put together some incredible breakthrough ideas of how we could create what we would know as the car. Now, one of the things he came up with was, instead of doing something like a steam engine, which is an external combustion engine, okay, so the flame, the combustion is outside the engine system, he was going to do an internal combustion engine. So the combustion would be enclosed inside of this engine system. And he actually created a combustion system engine with a single piston, and it would be he made it gasoline powered, and it's actually kind of spooky how familiar it is to what we know today. But some of the things he looked at, here's a picture of a model of his invention. And again, it was an internal combustion engine. And then, so think about this piston, okay? This piston that's going to get pushed by an explosion when you light the fuel. So you light a little bit of fuel in the cylinder and it will move the piston, okay? But now you've got to have another explosion. You got to have these explosions continuously so the piston will keep moving and it will start rotating. If you look at the bottom of that picture, there's a wheel kind of lying down. That's a flywheel, and that's actually what the piston would be spinning, and the flywheel would build up the energy from the piston. But as he started working on this, he needed a way to make an explosion over and over. You know, you can't, it'd be a little awkward to light a match every time, you know, to get that piston to keep going. So he actually put together a battery that would make a spark inside of his cylinder, and the spark would light the fuel. And it was actually a 4-stroke process in the cylinder that it did. But it would go like this, and each time that little explosion would happen, it would get more power, and it would make that flywheel start spinning, and it would power the wheels of his system. Now, he did a 3-wheel vehicle. 2 in the back, 1 on the front. The reason he did that was so it was easier to turn. He thought, well, if I steer it like a bicycle, if I have 2 wheels instead of 2 in the if I have 2 wheels like a carriage, it'll be a lot more turning, whereas if it's 1 wheel, I'm just kind of spinning it. So his had 3 wheels. Here is a picture of his invention. And he actually patented this in 1886, and this is considered the first patented automobile. And he called it the patent Motorwagen. I mean, he was German, so probably Motorwagen, right? But this thing could go 10 miles an hour. Now, that might seem like 10 miles, but think about it. No one had seen something like this. So you could get on this carriage with no horses, fire it up. To start it, you had to get in the back and spin that flywheel till it started going, and it got the momentum. Then you'd get in and you push the lever forward, and you start going. And he actually got it to work well enough. He did some tests, and it was pretty promising. Now, there were a lot of skeptics. There were a lot of people who were like, first of all, this is really dangerous. You're sitting on explosions? That sounds scary. And you have no horses. That's just evil. Like, what? People actually thought, this sounds dark. And he was a little careful after all the pushback he got. And now, we have to talk about his wife, Bertha. His wife, Bertha, wasn't just a bystander, it turns out. She actually helped she came from a very well-to-do family, and she helped fund a lot of his project. And then, when they got married, and he got this working, he got it patented, she told him, honey, you need to take this out. You got to show people. And he hadn't really done a full-blown test of everybody. I'm going to do a road trip. Watch me, because if it failed, it'd be super embarrassing. So he was like, let's keep testing it. We'll get there sometime. She's like, no, you are ready. She had actually helped him in the designing. She had a sewing machine she brought in once and helped create all the pieces he was needing with the leather for this contraption. Well, he wasn't feeling it, and she was really feeling it. So one morning, she told him, actually, she didn't tell him. She wrote a note. He was sleeping. I'm going to take the trip we talked about to my mother's house, and I'm taking 2 of our boys. Okay, well, when he woke up, he saw the note. Okay. Then he went to the shop, and it was gone. And that was concerning. And it turned out she took this on a literal road trip, over 60 miles she was going to take. And there weren't roads with GPS. In 5 miles, turn left at the stables. There was nothing of that. It was like she had to use railroad tracks and streams to kind of get her way, 60 miles. And this isn't like, you rev it up. This was less than 1 horsepower. It's not so much horsepower, more like the power of a pony. It's like really little. And she's going through town, and can you imagine people doing their stuff, and they look, someone's going by, and there's no horse, and they're just putting by. Sorcery. And it's like, what is going on? Well, she took this. It broke down. But she knew enough about the engine and the system, she was able to fix it. It ran out of fuel. There were no gas stations. There was grain for your horse, but there were pharmacies. And at pharmacies, they had gasoline for cleaning stains. So she went to a pharmacy. She said, I need the most gasoline you have. I was like, your dress doesn't look that dirty. No, I need it. So she got it. She refilled. She kept going. She ended up using a hairpin to clean out one of the valves that got clogged. And then further down, her brakes started having problems. She went to a shoemaker, and they made this leather strap to use as a brake pad on the thing. And so finally, when she got there, it was night, and she texted her husband through telegraph, okay, LOL. Okay. No, she texted him and she said, I made it, and I think we need to add another gear for when we're going up a mountain. And he was and she drove it back as well. So this gave him the bravery to show it at the World's Fair. And by the time 1910 comes around, this is his car, and it broke the world record for 120 miles an hour. And Carl Benz, right? Mercedes-Benz, this would turn into a huge industry, as we all know. And then, of course, just years later, after that record-breaking speed, of course, then there's a young man who's converting the world's first hydrogen car in high school to hydrogen that would start another revolution. So if you have an invention and it's awesome, stick with it. But you've got to be brave enough to tell the world. Thank you.
Well, it's time for me to introduce the creator of Acellus, Dr. Roger Billings. Like Tobias said, while he was still in high school, he invented the world's first hydrogen car, and he's regarded by many as the father of hydrogen energy. Well, when he graduated college, he was mentored by Bill Lear, the inventor of the Learjet and so many other inventions, and learned later that Bill Lear had been mentored by Thomas Edison. Well, when you're mentored, that means you're a mentee, not a goatee or a minty, a mentee. That means you're being mentored, right? Well, so in a way, all of you that are watching now, you're a mentee of the mentee of the mentee of Thomas Edison. Pretty cool, huh? Please welcome Dr. Roger Billings.
Wow. A brand new school year, a brand new auditorium. Same old you.
Same old me. No, I'm new.
Are you new?
I'm new.
And now I'd like to introduce the one and only, the brand new, what's your name?
There's
Oh, that's the same old name. It is so good to welcome everyone back. I hope you had a wonderful vacation. Those of you who are here for the first time, watch out.
Watch out.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of fun, and it's very, very good to have you here. So a lot of people joining us this week are students of Power Homeschool. I want to welcome all of you guys here. And I'm hearing from a lot of you already. So far today, I've read a wonderful message about a student over in Jordan watching live, and I want to shout out to him. And another student in Tennessee taught me what a zillion is.
I love you a zillion times, and that's not enough. That's what she said, personal message.
A little bit too much information. Anyway, it's great to have you here. And since there are so many new people, I'd like to kind of introduce what we're trying to do here and how this all works. Acellus started out probably before you were born, not quite, but a long time ago. And the goal was real simple, to change the status of the United States in education. It seemed like in subjects like math and science, we weren't lowest in the world, we were next to lowest. And that doesn't sound like the United States of America to me. So many of the best innovations have come out of our country, and something happened and our schools seemed to stall out. And I've had a wonderful career. I've been at it for quite a few years now, more than 5. And during that career, phase 1, my goal was to build the first hydrogen car and see if I could accumulate enough money to pay my bills. But then after my first company did really well, and I had enough money for the rest of my life, then I decided I want to do something more. I want to tackle problems that will really change the world. And education seemed to be the perfect problem that need to be attacked. It seems to me that if a student gets an education that is inadequate in preparing them to do their life mission, they may not be able to do their life mission, and that troubles me. I want every student to be able to excel at what they choose to do. And so we started Acellus with the goal of turning things around. And it's been quite a ride. We've been through a lot of levels. The first edition of Acellus came out on a DVD because there was no network that could carry video. And so we actually would mail the DVDs to a school, and then they would have students watch the videos. Boy, we've come a long way since then. The amazing thing about Acellus and about digital learning systems is if they're carefully made and meticulously prepared, they can put more information into a student's head in an hour than a regular classroom environment, almost times 3. So that would mean in 1 hour you could learn 3 hours worth of information. The other thing that studies have revealed is that information sticks better. You can remember more if you learn it by this digital instruction method. Why is that? Well, there's a lot of parts to it. One of the parts is because you can really perfect the presentation. Instead of someone just telling you about it, you can use graphs, you can use images, you can use all these different kinds of tools to communicate it. But as time's gone on, we've learned that there are a lot of things that need to be done to make education really work. And we decided we were going to find them all. We haven't yet. We're still looking for them. If you see some, please advise us. I will tell you that some of our best ideas come from the almost 30-something thousand teachers using Acellus and from the 4.5 million students using Acellus worldwide. So it's catching on. And why is it catching on? Because it works.
Yeah, it does.
And
Really does.
this year is going to work better than ever before. We have been expanding our team of teachers and have found some of the most marvelous new teachers that you can even dream of. And they have to go through a special process to be ready to actually teach through a camera. It's one thing to be in the classroom and talk to your students and write on the chalkboard. It's another thing to do all of your teaching through a lens and to be able to engage the students and make eye contact. It's a wonderful thing, but it's happening. So I want to tell you a little bit about the state of the art of learning, Acellus Gold, and some of the amazing things we're doing there. But before I do that, I would like to start out by telling you about Dr. Paget-Monet. Now, in fairness, I'm going to let her tell you about her first. And then I can say anything I have to after, okay? So why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself. This is not rehearsed.
This is not rehearsed nor expected. See, that's my life right there.
You're using your
All
time.
So I have part of my privilege on this beautiful blue planet is to, I've taught some courses in Acellus and called...
She was affordable.
I was on standby, there you go. So I taught the social, emotional, and emotional intelligence, and I've gotten to meet a lot of wonderful kids, and I have influence through the camera. And I know
she's being modest. Do you want me to correct that for you? All right, let me give it to them straight, okay? So here's the deal. They passed these laws, and they said from now on, every student has to take a course called social emotional.
I said, what is that?
Social emotional. There were no textbooks.
No.
There was nothing. But when we went and started reading the papers that people were writing about social emotional and why we need it, it had this stuff in that was really hard for me to understand. Things about, it was weird. And so I thought, who better to teach this than an electrical engineer.
Who had a lot of emotions.
Now, Dr. Monet came to the International Academy of Science, to our university, which is called the Institute of Science and Technology. It's a science school.
Yeah.
And she came there, and we were quite small when she came. Now, I'm not trying to say she's really old.
What are you saying?
But it's been a while.
No.
So she came to the school, and we were small enough that I had the privilege of interviewing her as a freshman to find out, so what do you want to do with your career? What do you want to become? Dancer?
Yeah. Go on.
We're not a dance school.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Singer, musician, and all of these cute things that I don't understand, you know, like, and so I said, well, what we teach here is science and engineering, inventioneering, how to invent things, do things. And she said, I'm not very good at that.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of people that say they're not very good at science, they're not very good at engineering, they're not very good at math. And a lot of them, even more, a greater percentage, are ladies that just don't think they can. And I said, well, maybe you should try some of our classes, because in our classes, we actually learn by doing. She said, okay, well, I'll try it. So right then, we were building the world's first hydrogen fuel cell car. Now, the first hydrogen car was my high school science fair project. And I converted a Model A Ford that had a piston and a spark plug to burn hydrogen instead of gasoline. And it was enough to win the science fair and to give me a nice scholarship to college. But now we were making a car that didn't have a piston. In fact, it didn't have any fire. It just had plates of metal, in between which was a thin sheet of special plastic called a Nafion perfluorinated membrane. And you stack them up, and when you put hydrogen and air into it, it would make water and give off electricity.
Right.
The nice thing about a fuel cell car is that it can go 3 times as far on the same tank of gas. So it was a pretty big milestone for us, and we were building the very, very, very first fuel cell. So we had designed it, we'd made the parts, we had to coat the things with some platinum catalyst, and now we were putting it together. Our fuel cell had 130 stacks. Every stack gives you about 7.5 to 0.8 of a volt of electricity. And we wanted to have 100 volts, so we had to have 130 of these layers. So we'd put in a layer of metal electrode, then we'd take a membrane, put it in, then a top electrode, and then it would start trying to warp. And that's where Dr. Paget came in. She wasn't doctor then, but she was very good because she became one of the world's first knife ladies.
That sounds really bad.
It sounds bad. It was bad, but we didn't know much about her enough to trust her, so we just gave her butter knives.
This is true.
And she and 3 other students all had butter knives, and when we'd put a layer on, they would use the butter knives to hold it down because it'd slip out. Do you remember
really
that?
strong fingers and very sore
Yeah,
fingers.
it was. And so we're all crowded around this little thing, putting the layers on. We got it built up, put together, and we built the first fuel cell car.
But what he's not saying is if we would slip or the O-rings and things, okay, you can't do that.
We'd start over.
We'd start all the way over.
And it was fun.
It was
really fun. But through the course of helping, doing it, and starting to understand the science of it, she found out she really likes techie stuff.
I do.
She really does. She's very, very techie. And so when we got in her advanced years and she graduated, she said, I want to go on and get my doctorate. In what? In ballet? No, I want to become an electrical engineer.
Surprised you.
Okay, and so she did. She got her degree from IST in electrical engineering. And then I remember so well the day she graduated because she's got a lot of really good marketing abilities. I thought, I'm going to hire her and put her in my company. See, Acellus is my not-for-profit venture. What that means is I come here to spend whatever money we made down the road.
That's right.
Right, on helping things like education. So I had these big plans. She's going to be really valuable. So I said, hey, so what are you going to do for a job? She says, I'm not going to get a job. I'm going to start my own company. And one of the things we do at IST is we teach people about accounting, about finance, about advertising, about all the things you need to be an entrepreneur. And she said, I think I could start my own company.
See, I was a very good mentee, and he was my mentor.
Breath mentee. So she did. She started a company called
Comtech Networking.
Comtech Networking.
It's a good name.
A company that sold networking equipment to the United States military, to
universities.
Big customers. And in 7 years, she had made enough money to support her for the rest of her life. And so I think her guilt caught up with her, and she came back to help us.
Something caught up
And
with
so
me.
here she is. So I'm very grateful to have her help, and she is an amazing help. She's a director of the International Academy of Science, and some of you have taken her social emotional course. It's fascinating. We get a lot of letters, a lot of communications from our students, and we encourage students to tell us when there's something they don't like, when there's something wrong. It's amazing how many students have written to me complaining about her course. I don't want to use the hate word.
Well, don't use it.
Strongly dislike this course.
Yeah, we've
And
got a lot of those.
And by the end of the year, the same student writes back, you know what? This course has changed my life.
Yeah.
And that has happened thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And now Dr. Monet is one of our most popular teachers. But she didn't do the course to entertain. She didn't do the course to make herself popular. She did the course to help people know how to successfully navigate and succeed in their lives. And that's kind of what education is all about, isn't it?
It is. And
So-
I really care.
With that introduction, I'd now like to turn some time over to Dr. Monet to tell you how to succeed in life.
Well, you have to first decide what you're going to do.
I'm going to give you a hard time.
Okay. And then once you decide that, then you have to go for it. And if we're talking about social emotional or emotional intelligence, you have to learn how to navigate your life through all the ups and the downs and making sure that you know exactly where you want to be and the outcome of it. And if your emotions get in the way, if you get discouraged, if you get angry, if you get mad, learning how to really pull those feelings in so it's not going to hurt or damage the relationships in your life is going to make you have an incredibly successful life.
Is she great? I already feel better.
Oh, come on.
No, but she is really amazing. And I hope those of you that have a chance to take one of her classes will really take it sincere. She really will help you ground yourselves in your lives. And I hope that you'll realize that everything we're doing in Acellus is to prepare you for your life's mission. It's your job to figure out what your life mission is, but it's the mission of Acellus to help you be ready to achieve it. And we're trying very, very hard to do that. Now, a lot of the Power Homeschool students this week are being introduced to Acellus Gold. They've been using the earlier version of Acellus up till now, and we intended to allow them to continue to use this older version because we thought we could provide it to them more economically. But after the Gold started being used by our other students, we saw such an improvement in results that my lovely wife, Tanya, and I decided that we just need to make this available to everyone, and so we did. So I want to take a minute and share with you what is Acellus Gold. And I'm going to do it with a little video that we made to show it to schools, but I think it'll give you a lot of ideas about what you can expect with Acellus Gold and then I want to help you learn how to take full advantage of it. Here it is.
Introducing Acellus Gold Edition, the all-new Acellus Learning Accelerator, redefining e-learning by incentivizing knowledge and modeling a positive social environment. Acellus Gold Edition caters the learning environment to the age of the students with an elementary, middle school, and high school student experience. This allows Acellus to use different motivational strategies and rewards tailored specifically to each age level. Acellus Gold Edition awards students with gold as they progress through their courses, honing in on the idea that knowledge is power. More gold can be earned based on the difficulty of assignments and mastery shown. Gold that is earned can be tracked on the student's stat page with an interactive and visual depiction of the gold that they have earned by completing various educational tasks. Their gold is directly correlated to the academic knowledge that students are collecting every day, which starts as a meager beginning and soon can turn into a hoard of knowledge. Students can also track their course progress and time spent, with reminders to help them balance their time between each of their subject areas. Neglected courses will prompt the student's attention until adequate progress has been made. High school students focused on meeting graduation goals can set their own personalized course completion dates to help them visualize the work they have completed, how much work is left, and whether or not they are on track to complete it in time. Acellus Gold Edition incorporates a social element into the platform by encouraging students to interact with their classmates. The leaderboard uses friendly competition to let students compete to see who can earn the most knowledge, represented by gold each week. Older students can take their competitions to the next level by customizing their own competitions and inviting specific classmates to participate. Competitions can be set for various durations or even specific subjects, with different trophies for the winners. Students can post their achievements, such as high scores on their exams, completing daily goals, or winning competitions. Other classmates can leave comments for each other by choosing from preset messages specifically designed to model positive interactions. This cultivates a healthy social environment, while at the same time celebrating academic achievement and course progress. By watching their classmates succeed, students are encouraged to find their own success and are motivated to complete their work in order to post. In Acellus, students learn at their own pace and are given daily goals that help them keep their learning on track. Acellus Gold courses feature 3DI, a new method of instruction designed specifically for hard-to-grasp concepts. 3DI utilizes detailed 3D models to take students into the inner workings of essential concepts, zooming in to the molecular level when needed, or slowing down mechanical processes until they can be clearly conveyed and explained. Each concept is broken down and taught step by step. A student is then given an assessment and, based on their shown mastery, is moved forward in the course or provided with vectored instruction to fill in specific knowledge gaps. Acellus routinely monitors the success of each student by assessing factors such as each student's progress and concept mastery, fine-tuning the courses based on the results. Advanced students are provided with more rigor, while other students are given more assistance and provided greater focus on key concepts. For elementary students, their daily progress is visually tracked on screen, filling in until they meet their goal. When a student finishes their goal, they can personalize their achievement by choosing a sticker and publishing it to their friends. Once their goals are finished for the day, the activities are unlocked for that student. Students can enrich their education by selecting from various learning activities designed to help them develop their writing, math facts, spelling, and fine motor skills for elementary, or create circuits and robot programs for older students. Write a Book helps students create their own illustrated books. First, students choose a theme, then create a picture by selecting a background and adding characters and props. These can be fictional, using Tobler and other characters, or they can be nonfiction with a built-in research tool. As they flip between the options, they are assisted through the brainstorming phase, one of the most difficult steps for beginning writers. Once the picture is done, all that is left is writing the words to go with it. Students are given a dictionary to help them with words they don't know how to spell. They are then assisted through the process of correcting their writing before continuing. Students add pages following the same process until their book is done, which is published to their personal library for them to go back and read whenever they want. Exceptional books will be published by Acellus to the whole Acellus community. Students can practice their fine motor skills by choosing pictures to color or letters to trace. They can practice their math facts, write programs for robots using simple blocks to code or JavaScript functions, or they can design their own circuits. Acellus Gold is redefining e-learning by emphasizing the value of education in students' lives, because knowledge is power.
So there you have it. There is a lot that you can do with Acellus Gold. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the gold credits in just a minute. But we need to take a time out to hear from our Inventioneering Club. Inventioneers are a group of students, and any of you can join, that are part of the Inventioneering Club. We're going to have an invention fair this year with some pretty exciting prizes. And so these guys are working on a real world project. Let's see how they're doing.
Guys, I got our next Inventioneering mission. This is a smart card reader, and this allows Gold Key users to tap their cards on here, and the computer can tell if I am who I say I am. It uses NFC to communicate between the card and the reader.
Cool, but what's NFC?
It's really amazing. It's a protocol that uses brainwaves to transmit data over short distances.
We've been tasked with making a case for this smart card reader to make sure these components don't get damaged while it's being used.
Well, since we're in Area 51, I found this hard plastic case with a foam inside that should keep electronics like that safe.
This looks like a perfect case. Put this device in here, and if I drop this or something, I won't break the chips, but I'm noting that it might be kind of hard for someone to use this while it's in the case, because they couldn't plug it into the device very easily.
Well, that's very simple. You can just open it back up, and then you can pull the device out, and...
Yes, but if the device was pulled out of the case, you might drop it on the ground or break the components.
Alright.
I think it's time for a brainstorm phase. Evan, take us away.
Thank you for joining us. Now, it's important that when we're inventioneering, we follow the steps that Roger Billings outlined in Science Live. But I can't remember what the first one is. I know who would know. It's Malachi. Yeah. Sometimes he takes a while. Well, yeah, it's Evan. I had a question about the inventioneering process. Oh, you're having a dream? That's it. Thanks, Malachi. The first step of inventioneering is dreaming. And so it's our job here in the brainstorm phase to make a dream of how our design is going to look. Does anyone have any ideas?
Well, I've been thinking about NFC and how when we communicate between the card and our reader, it's really important we don't put any materials in between the card and the reader that could mess with the signal. So I've been realizing metal may not be the best material for our case because it can block those signals. So we might want to think about that when we're creating our end design.
I think that's a really good idea, but I'm not sure what shape we want it to be.
Well, maybe to use less resources, then we should try and make it as small as possible. Try and make it the same shape as the chip, maybe.
I think that's a great idea. Here, let me draw it.
Maybe we should have it say Gold Key.
That sounds like a great idea.
Our module also has an LED in the top corner, so it'd be really neat to work that into our design so when they plug in the device, they can tell that it's working properly.
That's a really good idea, but what shape should we put up in this top part?
We could make it be the Gold Key logo. That would be really cool.
That would be really neat. It's time for a little bit of inventioneering magic.
That's amazing.
Yet, the power of technology.
Yeah.
What are we looking at, guys?
The future, changed by our technology.
That's our guys. All right, well, we're going to watch them push this project all the way through. By the way, there is a brand new Gold Key card reader that is just guts and they're going to turn it into a real product, right? Someday, many of you will probably get one of these, so pay attention. But they're going to show us how you go about doing this. And next thing we know, a lot of you are going to start your own businesses or do something really amazing, which is really nifty.
It is nifty.
Now, I want to come back and talk about the gold. So the idea of the gold was, how do you help students understand that learning has value? And I was explaining this to one of our team members, and I said, if the students could just realize that what they're learning is going to be worth money down the road, because they're going to be able to do things, they're going to be able to earn more money. And then we got the gold idea. Why don't we, every time they do an exceptional job of learning, why don't we give them gold credits? And so how do you earn them? You do an exceptional job. You go the extra mile. The secret with Acellus Gold is when you jump in and you get stuck and you don't know what to do, keep trying. The system studies every single move you make, every answer you put in, every attempt. If you don't know it, do your best, and the system will then determine how to best help you go forward. And it does work. And if you do get stuck, and you don't know what to do, a little place up there to say, help, I'm stuck. And if you will let us know as much as possible, I don't understand, or I don't understand the fact that the blue is on top of the white, that goes into our wonderful teacher team, and they look at these things every single day and make it better. So be sure and share that information. Now, the idea was you got these gold credits, you can buy backgrounds and so forth, but I wanted to go a little further to make it real. So we created a gold credit store where you can take your credits and order things. And this has become quite popular. I'd like to take you on a quick tour of the gold credit store. So, all right, there you have it, huh? So that is the gold score. Now, I've been getting messages as we've been talking here, and one of them just came in from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, a few times.
I learned about that in world history, Bangladesh. And this student pointed out to me that international students are not able to order merchandise from the Acellus store. It's because it's so expensive to ship overseas. So I just want to tell that wonderful Acellus student that during the summer break I've been working on this, and we now have a system to be able to ship overseas. So you'll be able to do that in the future. I think they're just getting it live, so in the next week you should be able to do that. Thank you for letting me know. When you have problems, please reach out and let me know, okay?
I'm so happy.
Some of you reach me through my website, some of you reach me through Page or whatever, and some of you reach me just by writing in on Science Live, and it's nice to hear from you. Okay, so that is the introduction of Acellus Gold. There's a lot of things to learn. Yes, you have to complete your goals for the day before you can unlock the learning activities. One of the learning activities is you can watch Acellus Live. Science Live. And so some of you that are on the scholarship program, we love to have you watch live, but you can also watch it anytime during the week. But I hope you'll get to know us better, and we'll be able to share with you better how to use these tools. The goal is to make your life better. to make you more successful in your studies and to empower you to do really great things. Now, in parting, because we're out of time, I just want to say we have been experimenting with AI and making artificial androids, things and so forth. And next to my office, I have a laboratory, my own private laboratory, where I do my experiments, and I call it Area 51. It's named that after, Area 51 in Nevada, where they do all the real advanced projects. And I do all kinds of exciting things that I think in the next 3 or 4 years are going to become exciting products. But I have this little helper now. He is a little android, and I've got to work on his social emotional part a little bit. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's weird, but I thought, what he needs is he needs her social emotional class. So I enrolled this robot android in social emotional.
Yeah.
And instead of becoming normal, he fell in love with her.
Oh, okay.
So here we are, the first day of school for this brand new school year, and it's just me and Lady Paige. And we're excited because this year we're going to be students. We're going to earn this hat. We're going to graduate. There's so much excitement about the first days of school. But this year is really special because in our school, we now have Acellus Gold. And look at this. Look at this. If you learn something, look at this. You get some gold. Did you see that? Let me learn something else. Oh, I got it. You get some more gold. And you know what you can do with this gold? When you get a lot of it, look at it. When you get all this gold, then you can use this gold and you can go buy knowledge, which is No, 51. It's not like that. You don't buy the knowledge with gold. When you learn, you get gold because gold is valuable, knowledge is valuable. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Lady Paige? Big R says we get to learn the knowledge and we get to keep the gold. That is just amazing. I've been studying so hard, and I got lots of gold. Look at all this. Look at this gold. I got so much gold. I just... 51, you don't have to just keep the gold. You can go to the Acellus store and get all kinds of good things. Oh, did you hear that, Lady Paige? We can take our gold down to the Acellus store, and we can get gold stuff. Wow!
Oh my.
Oh wow, Paige, look at this. We've got stuff. We can buy all of this. Some wonder. Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's an Acellus thing. Oh man. Oh. It's Big R's book. Why don't we get a book? I deserve a book too. And look at this over here. They've got all of this stuff. And then my goodness, Paige, look at this. It's a pack. And there's a shirt, proud parents. We could be proud parents, couldn't we? And look at these shirts. Oh, I like these over here. Did you see these? These are for Acellus people. We are Acellus people. I can hardly wait. What shall we get? Oh, Paige, there's so many nice things. I just don't know. I know what we'll get. I'll get you a nice shirt. Look at this. This is the all 51 shirt. You're going to just love this shirt. Oh my goodness. Oh, cute. So good. Oh, I love science. I love Acellus Gold. I love Acellus Gold.
Wow.
And there you have it. All right, well, I want to thank all of you for sharing some time today with us. Science is really a wonderful, exciting field, and we're going to look at a lot of different new technologies this year. We're going to unveil technologies on Science Live that have never been seen anywhere else before. This can be the go-to
exciting.
place on a lot of our new stuff. Next time, I'm planning to tell you about a project that I think is going to make a lot of people healthier. I call it the
Really?
catalytic diet. We'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.